will.
Yeah.
Okay, welcome everybody to Rev Up for Success Radio. I'm Claudia Cooley.
Yes.
I am the CEO and founder of this radio show, and we broadcast through Raven International. And we are really right at, I think, about 125 shows. I think, JaMarr, you are probably about the 125th show.
Awesome.
I know, so we've got a lot to celebrate.
Yes,
so it's really fun to bring people on to the show that share the same heart that I do. We're here to inspire other people to reach for their greatness, to reach for their best, and to give them tools to do that, and to believe in themselves, and to be able to create their own story, their own magic.
Right.
So, and really, that's kind of, JaMarr, it's what you create is magic when we think about it. So, welcome to the show.
I'm at the edge of my seat because I'm so excited. I know this is our second show. It's awesome that it's the 125th show. That's a big number, and hopefully I can knock out of the park for you today and give your viewers and your listeners some nuggets that can really help them rev up their success and go after their dreams and live a life without fear and regret, and just enjoy this thing that we all have, which is life. So I'm looking forward to really getting into it today.
That's going to be great. And let me just share a little bit about JaMarr with my audience. And thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We really appreciate you setting aside the time to enjoy the tips and the inspiration and the motivation and education that you're going to get today. So JaMarr Brown is the founder of the Selling and Color Personality Profile Sales and Communication Training and System. And this fascinates me, and we're going to delve into that a little more today. We didn't get to talk about it as much before, but it's been a powerful transforming program for other people as you have pushed this out into audiences all over.
It's been, it's been amazing, and I've been using this system for about 15 years. I recently got the rights to the program about a couple of years ago, but I've been using it for the past 15 years. And the most powerful thing about it, because, for me, I can only speak on things that I personally experienced. And so my very first sales team was ranked second to last in the nation. And I thought that the issue was, that we didn't set proper goals and we didn't really have a vision for our team. And so I was a new sales manager. And so I hired a consultant that was going to do a goal setting workshop for my team. So everybody says, oh, just set goals. But then once I realized that the issue wasn't just goal setting, because here's the thing, when you have a goal, you need other people to help you achieve it, right?
Yes.
And one of the most powerful things you can do is understand how to talk to people to inspire them to help you with the dreams and goals that you have. So really, it's about effective communication. And once I had that epiphany, I said, okay, we'll do goal setting second. First, we're going to do a team building workshop in terms of how to better communicate. And the consultant I hired had a system called Selling in Color. And so I brought him in, and it was a phenomenal process of really speaking to people the way they want to be spoken to, getting into the other person's sort of world, so to speak, understanding the blind spots that we all have in communication, because sometimes our natural style can be a turnoff to other people. And if we're not careful, we could do more harm than good when we're talking to people. And so literally, Claudia and everyone watching this program, our team went from second to last in May of that year. By the end of that year, we were number 9 in the nation out of 21 teams. The next year, we were number 2 in the country. And then the following year, we were number 1 in the country. I can't make it up. If you don't believe me, go to YouTube under JaMarr Brown. You can watch the video. It's my speech for winning Area Manager of the Year at Allergan Pharmaceuticals. And I'm telling you, it's because we got better at communication and understanding people's values and what they really wanted to hear in terms of that would motivate them. And then we did the goal setting second. And once you have people that were on the same page, speaking the same language, so to speak, and we had a clear goal and a clear vision, it was phenomenal. And I can't make up these results. These are absolutely true. So watch the video. And so I hired this consultant year after year after year. And eventually I was able to get the rights to the system, and I jumped on it because I knew the power of it over my 15 years experience with it. And now I teach it to sales teams. I teach it to teams that are from a team building standpoint. For example, this afternoon I got a call from a law firm, and they said, we are working with, they would deal with like wills and trusts and things like that. And they said the conversations, everyone is healthy and everything's positive are great. But then they said, JaMarr, I'm struggling with when somebody comes in and the situation in their family is not that great. And they come in with this emotional pain that they're struggling through, or somebody, has cancer in the family and they have to just make all these decisions about what they're going to do with their assets. And he says, I've never been trained on how to effectively talk to people in that regard. Right. Now, I don't profess to be a psychologist or sociologist. I'm not that. But the system absolutely helps people understand how do you effectively understand the other person and communicate in a way they want to be spoken to. So that's the power of this program. And I'm very excited to now just teach it to, companies, individuals, organizations, sales teams, and teams that need some team building and need some help with better communication. So I know we jumped off the road a little bit from my bio, but I did want to speak to the Selling in Color program.
Well, I'm glad you did, because it is part of your bio. Right. It is part of who you are. Well, and I'm just going to share a little bit more about that. Your passion is to be a guidepost and bridge to help others identify what's holding them back from reaching their full potential, finding their purpose, and living the life they were meant to live. And that's what totally is my calling. And I so connect with you. We connected right away when we
absolutely
met, because I think we're so on the same page. And all that he does, his workshops, his trainings, his speaking, his keynote talks, all wrap around that very purpose, or the center or core value.
Yeah, absolutely. And just so that everyone knows that didn't see the first show, and I highly recommend everyone watch all of Claudia's shows. You just put it in, loop it, and watch all the 125 shows, because they're phenomenal. And then the show that we did, it was a couple of months ago, I think.
Yes, I think
great.
So.
But I met Claudia. You were doing a presentation in Corona for a women's luncheon. And I happened to just be fascinated by what you were saying in the audience, because there are two things about you that I think really connected us. Number one, your passion for truly helping people uncover, discover, and unleash their talents into the world and themselves. And that was great. And the second thing, and I thought about this as I was preparing for our talk today, was that you do it in an unapologetic way. Now, what do I mean by that? That doesn't mean it's negative or there's an ego. It means you are who you are, and you say what you feel, and you say what you believe, and you don't hesitate. And that's something that, and everything that I say for the people watching, I live it myself. And so, I don't just say, oh, you should do this, and then I don't do it. You know what I mean? I go through the same processes that I teach about, because I think it's important to be a bridge for other people. You have to have gone through it yourself. You have to have some experience. And so for me, I'm unapologetic about letting my life and my experience be my teaching, because that way it's authentic and it's real. But the whole idea about being unapologetic for who you are, and unapologetic for the way that you help people, and unapologetic for having a show and doing talks and speaking engagements, I wish more people were like that, because so many people kind of hold themselves back. And whether it's fear or, they're concerned about what others might say or what other people might think. And I think if people watch more people like you and got some nuggets from people like me and saw how we were living that life that we're talking about, it'll be amazing what they could discover about themselves, the hidden gifts and talents and potential that they have inside themselves. And I just love being a guidepost for that. And I have in the past, I've had to build up my own strength to do it. But today, I'm like, I have no apologies about helping people, no apologies about being the JaMarr Brown that God put on this earth to be. And I have a passion for helping other people do the same with whatever gifts and talents that are inside them. And if I could just say one more thing, because I was on a talk show yesterday, and it was a gentleman who works a lot with children. And he said, JaMarr, what would you tell a child today, to help them sort of get inspired? And I thought about it, and I said, first, I would talk to the adults of the world, because sometimes, for example, we can look at a child that's in a certain situation from a certain background. Maybe it's a rougher background, tougher background. And sometimes the perception is they're not motivated. They don't want to be successful, whatever the case may be, because of these perceptions. And I said, I would tell the adults of the world that these kids, the issue is they just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
They just haven't seen what they could be. They just haven't felt success. They just haven't been around people that can lift them up and take them to places they want to get to, because they are gifts that have been unlocked or have not been unlocked to the world. And when you really help a child understand the power of their mind and the ability to understand that their life can be whatever it is that they dream it can be, and they understand the steps to get there, they have people that guide them along the way, it is amazing what they can accomplish. It is amazing what they can do. And so that goes for children. That goes for anybody watching this, that you feel inside your heart that there's something that you want to do, because everyone has that voice inside them. Everyone has that little voice saying, Claudia, okay, do your show, Rev Up for Success. Claudia, write that book. And I remember you were telling a story about how you had that voice and you pushed it off for so many years, and you finally sort of took action, and then things happen, like the gentleman you met on the plane and turned out to be someone that, was in your book and totally changed your life. And that's the same thing in my life, that when you step out and say, I'm just going to jump off and follow that voice, it's amazing what can come into your life. And so I want to see everyone experience that. I want to see our children experience that. And I want to be a bridge to help them unleash their potential to the world.
Wow. And you do, and you will do more of that. You will continue to do more and more of that. Well, let's talk about this Break It Down Brown.
Okay.
Game. The game.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Break It Down Brown right here. It's a book I just released a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it's Break It Down Brown, Volume 1, and the subheader is Change Your Perspective, Change Your Life. And it's all about how you can change your entire life just by looking at things differently. It's all about how you can take a situation in life, and there's a deeper meaning behind the things we all deal with every single day. And if we can understand that meaning and look at things differently from a different perspective, it's amazing what can open up in your life. And so what I want to do is play a little game with you, Claudia, and the book has 15 chapters. And what I want you to do, I've already broken down. If you go to my YouTube site and Facebook page, JaMarr Brown, I've already broken down the first 4 chapters. So we can't do the first 4.
Okay.
But I want you to pick a number between 5 and 15. I'm going to go to the book, read the name of that chapter. And I'm going to talk about what the chapter says so that people can really experience what this whole Break It Down Brown concept is all about. So any number between 5 and 15.
7.
7. Okay. All right. Lucky number 7.
It is.
So chapter 7. Oh, this is a good one. Don't compare the result, compare the process. And so once again, don't compare the result, compare the process. And what made me want to break that down? And once again, I'll take a story we all deal with. And so think about something you want to accomplish, Claudia, and think about whoever's watching this, something that you want to do. And oftentimes we see somebody that has already done it, right? Let's say you want to write a book and you see, Claudia, you've written 5 books, right?
4 and some little ones, yeah.
Right. Which is amazing, okay? And let's say you want to write a book. Let's say you want to be a top salesperson or a top manager, or you want to open your own business. And then sometimes when we look at what we want to do, we compare where we are compared to somebody else, our success levels, quote unquote. So you look at somebody that owns a restaurant and we say, oh, I don't own a restaurant. It must be difficult, so I'm not going to do it. You look at somebody that's written 5 books and you go, I've only written 3. And you start comparing the result of things. Or in sales, oftentimes people look at the person that won Salesperson of the Year, and instead of lifting them up, they go, well, they just got lucky, right? They closed one big account and the compensation plan worked out in their favor. And, or if there's a manager that has a top performing team, well, that person just happened to get good talent and I don't, right? So people compare the result of things. What I realize is that successful people in this world, people like yourself, people like me, once I got over myself and got out of comparing the result, I started to compare the process. Because, for example, there's a process that you undertook to write your 5 books and more books to come. There's a process that you undertook to have your own show right now. And so to be successful, don't say Claudia has a show and I don't. If you do want a show, just say, you know what, let me understand the process Claudia went through to create her show. What were the steps that she took? What were the mindsets that she had? And you start following those steps and following that mindset and appreciate and lift up people that are doing things you want to do. That's how you get to where you want to go. And so the whole chapter of the book talks about different examples of the importance of comparing the process, because the only way to get somewhere is what? Through your mindset and your behaviors. Mm-hmm. You can't cross the finish line in a 5K by standing there, right? You gotta do something, right? And if you sit there and go, well, that person already finished and I didn't, you're not moving. The best way to move is to say, how did that person get there? How did they train? What do they eat? What do they drink? What is their mindset of helping them get through a very difficult race? What is your mindset that gets them up in the morning to get them motivated to go out and practice when it's raining and snowing outside? And if you could understand the process and commit yourself to the process somebody already incorporated to help them get to where they want to get to, and you are relentless about following the process, that's how you achieve the result. That is exactly how you do it. There's really no other way. And so many people spend time on the result, and the whole chapter in the book is think about the process, follow the process. So that's one example of the chapter that's in there.
Nice,
that's in
nice.
there.
I love it. Yeah, we need more of those. Okay, yeah. Selling in color, sales and team building systems. Let's explain that. I want my audience to know about that. We have about 10 minutes, and so that's what we can create.
Excellent. All right. And just to let everybody know, the reason why this is less conversational than the last time is because Claudia is getting over being sick, and I'm trying to spare her voice.
I appreciate that.
And so she asked me to kind of, speak a little bit more so that she could save her voice, because she has so many other things to do, and I don't want her to not have a voice to help other people unleash themselves. So that's why. So the selling in color system, it has different aspects to it in terms of a sales process around it. One of the key things that it does, though, it allows people to speak to others the way that they want to be spoken to. And it's based on 4 colors. And I know you have a great program as well that you have in your book. So there's a lot of different styles and programs out there. And for me, I think whatever you learn and take on, it's great. So, this one or others. But this one's based on colors, and there's 4 colors. It's red, blue, yellow, and green. And they represent general personality types of a person. And so red is somebody who's a bit more domineering, direct, type A type person. Blue is somebody who's a bit more analytical. They want to go through the details. They want to get to the fine print. Yellow is somebody who says, before we get down to business, let me get to know you a little bit. I want to have fun. If it's static, I'm bored. And then green is somebody who's thinking, can I trust this person? Is this somebody that I want to do business with? Do they have my best interests at heart? And the question I ask people is, are you happy with your current results? And that could be your current result in sales, your current result in leadership, where you're leading a team, your current results with your children, for example, because this works for everybody. Now, I don't get into a lot of, relationship things, but what I found is that when I do teaching in groups, it does trickle into the home and helps with communication at the house with your children. Definitely. And so based on understanding the person's personality type, and there's ways you can read a person. There's body language, there's verbal tone, there's whether or not they're having a good day or a bad day, there's past experience, there's certain questions you can ask. And so the program teaches how to read somebody as quickly as possible so that you can speak to them the way they want to be spoken to, because each of these people, red, blue, yellow, and green, like to be talked to a certain way. Here's an example. Let's say I want to present something to you, Claudia, and my general style is red, right? I'm pretty much, when I'm working, kind of to the point. If I get a contract, I go to the last page and I want to see how much it costs first. Then I go to the front page. Well, somebody could perceive that as JaMarr's rude, he's arrogant. Not the case at all. That's just how I process information. And so you have to be accepting of people. But if you don't understand that, you can be thrown off very quickly. Claudia, for you, for example, if I were to say, if somebody presented you with a contract, do you want to get to the bottom line first, look at the cost? Do you want to get to know the person first, and so it's not boring? Do you want to go through the fine print and the details? Or do you have the sense of, can I trust this person? Which one in general would you say that you are?
Well, you probably already know.
Yeah.
I'm yellow with some red.
Perfect. Yellow with some red. So here's the thing. If I'm full on red in my own world, which is get down to business, get to the bottom line, and I sit down with Claudia, who's yellow, who's more of a, well, let's get to know each other first and then talk business, I'm going to throw you off very quickly. So many sales are lost within the first minute because you're not connecting with the person instantly. And so the program teaches, instead of being all about, this is just me, this is my style, it is, let me adjust my style to speak to the person the way they want to be spoken to. So I would have to relax myself a little bit and be comfortable with talking about other things, your beautiful couch there, and your nice lamp, and the fact that you redid your deck on your own, which is amazing to me. And then you get down to business. And so, because if not, then you have a blind spot, and that is what other people see that you don't. And what you might see if I don't adjust my style is, this guy's stiff, he's not fun, he's boring, and he's all about himself, and he's not even thinking about me. And is that going to make you want to buy from me or not? Probably not. So that's what the whole program teaches, and it's just a phenomenal program. And I couple that with role playing, with video, games that we play, and then the overall sales system as well, because there's the sales process that's around it. But that's one of the most fun parts of the program that I teach. So that's selling in color in a nutshell.
Well, and my guess is that performance goes up when somebody has gone through this training.
I said it earlier. My very first sales team, when I very first was introduced to this program, went from second to last to number one in the country. And the video is on YouTube under JaMarr Brown. So watch that video and you'll see me talk about how our team went from last to first. So for me, I absolutely know it works. I've seen it work over the course of 15 years when I've been in the healthcare field and sales and management and marketing. And so I guarantee that your results will go up. There's no other way your results can't go up if you speak to people the way they want to be spoken to. I mean, you increase your effectiveness and your sales success dramatically as a result of applying these principles.
And what's interesting is they don't even know they want to be talked to that way.
Right.
They aren't thinking about that. But if you're paying attention, you set your intention, then you're going to build that relationship that they're going to know, love, and trust you. And
right.
That's what brings out the results. So whether you are red, blue, yellow, or green, it doesn't matter. It's building that level of trust right away with people. And what's the quickest way there, is understanding.
Right, exactly. And the other thing, Claudia, is so many people are afraid of sales. Everyone's, I'm not a salesperson. Well, everyone's a salesperson, okay? Whether it's with your children, with your spouse, with your friends, everyone is trying to, in the course of a conversation, at some point, get someone to understand their perspective, get someone to go somewhere, get someone to do something, get someone to buy their book. And so we're all in sales, but sometimes we think of sales as this sort of snake oil type manipulative process. What I teach is that it's fun and it's engaging because you understand how to better relate to people. That's not manipulative. That's making them feel valuable and valued. And why wouldn't we do that? So
exactly.
You have to look at sales differently. It's especially if your intent is good enough. If you have bad intentions, that's one thing, but we have good intentions. And so we have good intentions, then understanding how to better communicate with the people you talk to each and every single day. What's wrong with that? That is exactly what everybody should try to do.
Right. It empowers all your relationships.
Absolutely. Yes.
In our last few minutes, I really want to have you have a chance to talk a little bit about your keynote talks.
Okay.
And then what's going on and how they can get a hold of you. Or obviously YouTube is going to be a way of viewing you. But
yes, YouTube, JaMarrBrown.com, JaMarr Brown.com. Also sellingandcolor.com, SELLING and color. and I'll speak to a couple different keynote talks that are also training programs. One is called What's Your Sales Story? And it's literally I get on stage and I'm not an actor, but I get so fired up and emotional about it that I act out the scene of how I went from last place in sales to #1 in the country. And I talk about the process of how the people in the audience can do the exact same way by uncovering what is getting in the way of their success. And so it's funny, it's engaging, and it's based on a real world story of how, I went from last place to nearly getting fired to #1 in the country at Allergan Pharmaceuticals. So that's one awesome talk. The second talk really is called the Kaizen Way of Sales Excellence. Management Excellence. And it's a talk about how to achieve extremely high levels of success as a leader in your organization based on the principles of my story of going from taking a team from second to last in the nation to #2, then #1, and what happens along the way. What are the mindsets? What are the thought processes? What are the things that can be incorporated to help you get there? So that's another talk. I also do a talk on selling in color, whether it's a 1-hour keynote, which I'm going to do Friday for a group of about 200 people, which is going to be awesome, or it could be one-on-one or for corporations. And once again, that's all about teaching people how to sell and talk to people the way they want to be spoken to. And then 2 other talks that I'm really excited about. One is called Your Future Starts Now. And the second one is called Your Future Leadership Starts Now. And it's based on a college speaking tour that I do, which is teaching young people the mindsets, the thought processes, and the behaviors needed to become the leaders that they need, that they want to be in the future, #1, and also how to uncover their passion and unleash themselves into the world. And so those are the 5 key talks that I do that are also training programs. Once again, JaMarrBrown.com and then sellingin color.com for the Selling in Color program. But they're phenomenal programs, and I love doing them.
Well, and I think we all should go and see your video on your, from 0 to 200.
Hero. Yeah.
That big speed change that you changed, that life-changing experience. So I can't wait to follow you on YouTube, and as well as I would love to be in the audience and hear you speaking.
I will totally invite you. Absolutely.
There you go, because now we would be reciprocal, because that's how I met you. You were in my audience. So
That's right. That's right.
yeah. Really cool.
That'd be awesome.
And I love what you're talking about too, because I'm just creating, starting it off. Actually, on the 20th of May, this show will air after that.
Okay.
This is going to be an ongoing movement for women leaders in sisterhood.
Okay.
And it's giving women an opportunity to come together and build trustworthy relationships with people that aren't looking to them for answers, to come up with solutions for them or do anything, but just to get to be themselves. Come and let their hair down.
Great.
Let the little girl that's in them out and play.
Awesome.
And I know men, they let go of some of their frustration. They go to the golf course, they play a good game, and they pat each other on the back. And then women a lot of times carry that responsibility home that they've had all day in their careers, and then at night they still have more responsibilities. So it's a place to let down and let us pamper them. So I'm excited about doing that, and I'm going to make this an ongoing movement of women leaders and sisterhood, because I feel there's a real need for it, and I'm excited to take my gifts to that next level and share with others. So I'm taking my yellow out there so that I can make a multicolored collage of people, bringing them together and inspiring them. So you inspire me, JaMarr, and thank you for taking the load of the show today.
My pleasure.
You always have a great voice, and you have your own radio show or podcast too, if I remember right?
I do. Yeah, the podcast. I literally just launched it. It's Break It Down Brown with JaMarr Brown on iTunes and Spreaker. And then I have a radio show that's every Thursday at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. on KCWGthetruth.com. Oh, and I know we have like a minute or maybe less.
Yeah.
Right. I am relaunching the Break It Down Brown TV show.
Oh, really?
Yes. I just signed a deal with the person who's going to represent me last week. And I'll give out more details. But on that show, it's in an actual studio, or I go to somebody's location and I do a live interview. And so I'm always looking for guests and sponsors. and we break it down just like this. And just super excited about relaunching that TV show, because it got rave reviews when I first had it, and I got busy doing other things, and everyone said bring it back, and so we're going to bring it back. So that's something I'll keep you posted on.
Mr. Red Card.
Yeah.
Focus on one thing at a time. How's that?
Yeah, right.
You're done, you have to focus on your one domino. Okay, that's my advice for you today. Well, everybody, we are so glad that you were here to hear JaMarr and to hear all the wealth and jewels and gold nuggets that he brought us. And I hope that it will benefit you and you'll utilize it, but also go and follow him, because you'll be inspired with things that you can even share at work or in your family to enhance and empower all of those areas of your life. So thanks for being with us today. And remember, follow your vision and your path will appear. So we'll see you next week. So thanks, everybody. Bye, JaMarr.
Thank you very much, Claudia. Take care. Great seeing you. Take care.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. Bye-bye.